Because from the first day, as your words were being spoken, he came because of those words, but because of the interference, it took 3 weeks. The first prayer was not interfered with, it was instantaneous. The second prayer was interfered with, because the angel was responsible for bringing the answer to the prayer. He was interfered with. It took 21 days. But in both cases, God set in motion immediately the answer. One was instant, one had a delay. Okay? So what do we do with this? So first of all, let's just realize a couple things. So there are different ways that answers to prayers can come. You could categorize it as there are prayers that will be answered by way of the work of angels, and then you have prayers that will be answered by way of releasing power, and these are two completely different things. So if you think about things like healing, devil casting, dead raising, these are works of power. Where does power come from? Power comes from the Holy Spirit. There's no angels involved in healing. Like when we're ministering healing, there's no angel involved. When we minister healing, it's the Holy Spirit within us. His power is released by my faith or by your faith, and that power comes directly from the power source within you, the Holy Spirit, and goes directly into the person that you're ministering to. That is completely different than coming through an angel. So there shouldn't be any, angelic interference like this, a 21-day battle. No, the power is coming directly out of me and it's going directly into them, right? So there's no angelic interference, opportunity like that. What does hinder us, you could think about our faith, it's kind of like a faucet or a spigot, right? So if we're weak in faith, then the valve is almost closed and there's only like a little trickle of power coming out. And so you may have like a long drawn out healing. As things are long and drawn out, the devil might attack you and attack you more and attack you more, and really just make it pretty impossible for you to get healed. If we're stronger in faith, if we have hindrances out of the way, then the faucet's wide open, the power is free flowing, and things happen much more quickly. So in the case of prayers involving power, this is, time constraints or time delays are for a different reason than prayers that come by way of angels, okay? So I hope you see that. The more unhindered our faith is, the greater the flow of power will be, the faster the better the result. The more hindered our faith is, or the weaker our believing, or the more we're on the fence about things, then we're limiting the flow of power because we're weak in faith or wavering in faith. So a trickle will come out instead of a huge flow. So we want to be rich in faith and get all the hindrances out of the way. Okay, then there are other kinds of prayers that are going to be answered by way of angels.